Omnisphere 3 is MPE compatible, and that means that I am a happy clam. Let's check out how it works. So all I gotta do after picking my patch is go over to System and click MPE, and then it works. That's it. We're in business. So this basically means that Omnisphere can respond to per note expression data. This is good news. Like, really good, like the best news all year. But I do want to do a little bit more than just like slides and MPE pitch bend stuff, so let's dig a little deeper and see if we can map some of the other MPE stuff. So, for example, this granular piano patch is pretty cool. But I think I'd like it a lot better if I could do something like map one of my playing gestures to, say, the wet drive, one of the effects in Omnisphere. So let's see if we can do that. Turns out that's pretty easy. So first you just navigate to the parameters that you want to modulate, which in this case is going to be both the frequency and depth of the ring mod. Right click, modulate, modulate with controller, modulate with MPE-Y, which is the slide gesture on the Seaboard. And I'm going to do that with the depth as well. Modulate, modulate with controller, modulate with MPE-Y. And now if you look at the modulation tab on the left-hand side of the screen, you can see that as I do the slide gesture on the Seaboard, the frequency and depth of the ring mod are mapped to that. Omnisphere having MPE now is like when you have butter and it's just warm enough. Like, you know how butter is usually so cold that you can't kind of like effectively spread it with a knife? It's like when it's not that. Like when it's warm and soft and you don't have to like spread it weirdly, you know? Let's see what else we can map. So I like this lead, but I want to see if I can make it so that when I press more deeply into the key, it brings up the rate or the depth of a vibrato. This is very doable, and I'm going to show you this time how to do that via the modulation matrix. So I just got to navigate over to the part within this patch that I want to modulate. Over here we got the modulation section, and I'm going to click the magnifying glass, which opens the mod matrix. I can see that the thing creating the vibrato already is LFO4. I can tell that because it is mapped to the pitch, and I can kind of see that it has this bipolar modulation. So if I want to modulate this with press, I navigate over to the sources, go all the way down to MPE-Z, which is press, and then for the destination, I have the LFO4 depth. I'm going to turn that up. And when I press deeper, you can hear that vibrato increase. Let's add another modulator for the LFO rate. Once again, MPE-Z as the source, and then this time LFO4 rate as the destination. Regular MIDI is like a 2003 Honda Civic, and MPE is like a 2026, I don't know what. I don't know about cars. Regular MIDI is like Ocarina of Time. MPE is like Tears of the Kingdom. Let's go with that. Okay, comments, opinions, takeaways. This works basically as well as I need it to work. You know, I can map the major functionality of the Seaboard to parameters in Omnisphere. Press, slide, obviously the gliding pitch bend, so that's great. Some of the more minor functionality I was not able to get working. For example, the lift parameter on the Seaboard, the speed at which you lift your hand off the key can trigger some kind of modulation, but I at least couldn't get that working within Omnisphere. And hey, you know, I mean, I wouldn't expect it to have as fully functional MPE implementation as like a program built for an MPE instrument, but it's okay because what it does have is enough. criticisms and a wish list. I'd love to see release velocity added as a modulation source, because then I could have done the lift thing. Also, I would love it if there was more than just a single user CC for miscellaneous MIDI shenanigans. And I would love it if you could type what specific CC you want to use into this field, rather than it being the kind of thing where you have to hit a button on a MIDI controller and it automatically maps to it. That's easy if you're on a simple MIDI controller, and for example, one of the pads is CC11 and you just hit it and it throws CC11, but on an MPE controller, it's a little bit more complicated than that. And lastly, I would love it if the MPE functionality worked with the arpeggiator. I'll show you what I mean. So in this patch, I've got press mapped to the cutoff of the filter. But when I turn the arpeggiator on, I basically lose all MPE functionality. I can't press for that cutoff. I can't even slide for pitch. So real quick, I just want to contrast that with something that you can do in Arturia Pigments. Check this out. So this ARP patch works perfectly with MPE, and that's great because this is one of the coolest things that you can do with an ARP. And it's a shame that in Omnisphere, as soon as you turn the ARP on, all the MPE behavior just kind of shuts off. But that's okay, because it gives us something to look forward to in the next version. Alright, that's the end of the video. Thanks for watching, and go make some music.